So guys, how is VCON? Are you excited? I'm equally excited because this is the first time I'm addressing a crowd like this big. So let us straight get to the point. Before sharing my story, I'll just talk about the story which I can relate a lot, which has been told to me by my upline from the beginning of starting with a business. I started my business in 2006, December. It was not 2008. I remember the magic date. It is December 18th. So, starting with that, I was 22 years old. I'm a civil engineer by degree, but unfortunately ended up with a software company, working for them during the UK timings. Life was so boring. So that is when somebody came up with this opportunity to me. But before going further, I will share the story which my mentor used to continuously tell me. I'm a very firm believer in the Almighty. How many of you don't believe? Do you believe in the master plan, the Almighty? Do you? Now, I'm a very firm believer. So I was able to relate with this story. There was one guy who believed in God very firmly, that he faced huge criticism from his friends who are non-believers. They kept on questioning him on whether he had any conversation, he got any proof, whether he had seen God. To which his answer was an obvious no. But he said, I still believe. So they were all logical people trying to shut him down because of his beliefs. So one day, he is living in an island and he was traveling in a ship. And unfortunately, the ship sank. And he was in the middle of ocean. And he was praying to God, the Almighty, somehow help me, because if you don't help me right now, I am screwed. I mean, everyone would make fun of someone who believed in you, and they are never going to believe in you ever. So please, help me in this situation. He started praying. And a log of wood was drifting, and he got hold of it. So meanwhile, there was a boat which came. Unfortunately for him, the boat had a non-believer in it. I mean, the non-believer is riding the boat. So he said, why are you here? What are you doing in the middle of ocean? Are you having fun? Where is your God? Is he going to come and help you? So he was sarcastically smiling at him and making fun of him and told them, okay, no problem. Get on board and escape. But never, ever talk about your God story to me. Never, ever continue to be a believer. So he got really hurt. So he said, okay, no, I don't want to get into your boat. God will help me. So time went by, another boat came in. Unfortunately, it was again a non-believer, so he never got in. The third boat came in, he never got in because it was a non-believer. He didn't float till the fourth boat. He drowned and died. So when he reached heaven, the first question, the only question he had God was, why didn't you help me? God was saying, I sent you 3 boats. You never got in. Any of them. You never had the belief that I am sending the boats. So you missed it. So I am able to relate to this story a lot. Basically because I believe I had been sent boats too. But sometimes what you do in life is like you get into the boat sent by God and you immediately jump out. You know people who sign up with you and say, no, this will not work, this is a scam, you know them, right? Yeah? They say the boat is yellow in color. I like only red boats. So I don't get in. So people are like that. People are weird. So I was also weird. I started this business in 2006. I had a fair good growth in this business. I built a team of 800. By the time it was 2008. But due to some crisis I faced in my country, I started focusing in different businesses. Meanwhile, I quit my job in my company as well. So that is exactly where I have few things to convey. The problem we always have is we never identify the opportunities because they look like disasters. Opportunities always look like disasters. Like the guy who was not ready to get into the boat because he thought it would be a disaster if he get into the boat. They will blame him all through his life. Do you get my point? So opportunities never look like it. That was learning number one. Learning number two was a different one, which I'll talk to you about later. So meanwhile, I started focusing in other businesses other than QNET by 2008. For example, I started with a paying guest accommodation for women. Then later for men as well. Then I started with food delivery businesses. I was 23, 24, and was excited to start something or the other. So finally, I ended up starting with a 33-room property, a 3-star property in Bangalore. And I raised the funds to start with this because I am from a middle-class family with working parents, both of them. So I basically don't have much of money back at home. So I raised the funds to start with this particular hotel. It was close to 1 crore Indian rupees at that point of time. That was in 2009. Now, I have no clue how to run a hotel. I just started out of enthusiasm. How many of you feel that there are better businesses than QNET out there? Be very frank, make some noise if you feel there are great businesses out there. Outside QNET, I mean not QNET, outside QNET. I also felt the same. That's the reason why I started with other businesses. Now I'll tell you what happened to me. I found that for running a hotel and other businesses, I have overheads, a lot of overheads. That means expenses to make. So I ended up spending a lot of money on overheads, and I was not able to cover my expenses through the income generated out of it. And I had absolutely no experience in hotel business. So what happened? My income was 6 lakh Indian rupees. 6 lakh Indian rupees is like close to 10,000 US dollars. That was my expenditure. My income was 4.5 lakhs. I was short by 1.5 lakh Indian rupees every single month. So 1.5 lakh Indian rupees is like more than $2,500 or something. So I was short of it every month. So I got to raise these funds every month and keep on pumping into my business again. That is where I learned that everything, or the grass is always greener on the other side. We are into something, we look on the other side of it and say, that's nice, that's nicer, probably I should try that. So I was always feeling the same like any new person who gets into QNET, that, okay, I have this issue, downlines are not listening, that guy is not listening to me, and this guy stopped doing the business, or the product is having a complaint. I used to complain like any other normal new IR. But after getting into this business and facing real issues, when I have to pay the rental for the building, when I had to pay the salary for my employees, I really started feeling the heat. And more, I fell in love with network marketing. Now, time went by. Pumping in 1.5 lakhs every month was not doing any good to me. I was under tremendous pressure. And to an extent where I had no money to eat food. I've really gone through this trouble, wherein I very proudly say everyone that I did engineering from the oldest engineering college in Kerala, the best engineering college in Kerala, College of Engineering, Trivandrum. That's where I did my graduation. So I was very proud of that. But for some reason, for unknown reasons, my dad would be still wondering, how did I end up being a businessman? Because he is very much against it. He don't like the word B because business starts with that. So I was, completely into business. At the same time, it was not running good. And I had no money to have food. There were times when I would go drink a lot of water and sleep. Just sleep. I try to sleep. I drink a lot of water and then sleep. And it went on for quite some time. And it went to the extent, why did I say I was proud of being an engineer from this college? It went to an extent where I didn't get the labor to clean the toilets for one of my organizations, one of my institutions. I had to say, the guy is coming today. When you're back from office, your toilet will be ready. The guy has agreed to come. It has gone to the extent of me going out there and cleaning their toilets. And that became my regular thing to be done, at least twice in a month or something like that, when the labor is not available. So I sometimes kept asking myself, what are you doing with your life? What are you doing? Is this the reason why your parents sent you to college? Is this the reason why you did civil engineering? My friends started asking me questions like this. I was broken, completely down. And the only thing which kept coming back to my head all the time was the good times with QNET. So I kept on pressurizing my upline. Can we somehow restart with QNET? And every single day, I would call him at least 20 times to somehow connect me to our great grand upline. But I knew it was almost impossible because she was really, really huge in our business by that time itself. I had seen her in a crowd of 8,000. She's speaking on the stage and I am like not even in the last row. I don't have a seat in the room. So she was that huge. And I had no hope of meeting her, but I kept on pressurizing my upline. Can we actually meet her? Can we ask her to help us in restarting the business? And my upline also was not so hopeful in the beginning. But he finally decided to give it a try. We started contacting her through few contacts we had. One day, I was not ready to believe when my upline got a call from the most amazing human being I personally know, our V partner, Padmaka. He got a call from Padmaka and I was super excited. I was hanging around my upline like a kid. I was like, are you seriously talking to her? And I was like a kid going wherever he is walking with the call. Finally, he extended the hand to me. And I was like totally lost. I didn't know what to speak. But I took the call and I was like, somehow, please, I know this is the best business. I have done a lot of other businesses, and I know this is the best thing to be done on the planet. Please help me. I am ready to do anything you say. Do you know what made me say this? Do you know what made me say this? There were incidents when I tell you I had no money to eat. Please understand, the 1 crore rupees which I raised, those are financiers who are running behind me. So they kept calling me every single day. And what would you do when you have no money to eat food and people are calling you for money? What would you do? What would you do? You don't pick up the call. I did the same thing. I never picked up the call. I started ignoring the calls from the bank. They tried contacting me for months together. And finally, they decided to catch hold of me by contacting my parents back in Kerala. That is where things went out of my control. The bank people started calling my parents. They started asking them, is this the reason why you send your son to Bangalore? My dad retired as an additional secretary, which is the highest post in the government secretariat in Kerala, next to an IAS officer. So he is a man with a lot of self-respect, a lot of self-respect. And he is getting a call from a bank asking him, is this how you send, this is the reason why you send your kid to Bangalore? And they started abusing him. It went to an extent where I got a call from my dad who told me, please, don't help us, okay? But allow us to live with some peace. Can you stop disturbing us with what you do? Have you ever got a call like that from your dad or your mom? I was broken. And he also said that you will not see your dad again if I get one more call like this. I was completely broken. Now, I would like to say that these are part of the master plan. Now, you are feeling sad about it, right? Don't you think it looks like a disaster? Exactly. This is how the boats will always look like. The boats will never look the way we want the boat to look like. The boats will always keep coming. Because the master plan is always good. I believe in the master plan. So I had a smile on my face after the call because I had nothing better to do. I said, life, you are playing good. Now watch me play. So I was not ready to give up. And that is exactly when the master plan worked with Padmaka calling me up. I was super excited. I said, you tell me anything, I will do it. I had to talk for 15 minutes and she was thinking this guy is crazy. But she asked me to come to Delhi to meet her. I went over to Delhi along with my upline and she met me briefly for 15 minutes. I believe 15 to 20 minutes, and she said, okay, come and meet me at my home in Chennai. I was like, okay. And meanwhile, I borrowed money for all these trips. And when I was in Chennai, I think she took me seriously. Now, another boat is the crisis. Do you remember the crisis I was talking about in 2008? Because of the crisis, many top leaders were not active. And Akka decided to take few fresh, new people more seriously. Otherwise, do you even think I could go anywhere near to her, because she was already having a network of more than 300,000 people at that point of time. But because of the crisis, which is the next bot I am talking about. Because of the crisis, I was able to get closer to her. And she started taking me seriously. And I'm very proud to say that I'm absolutely a product of what she has decided to make me happen. So over here, sometimes your upline will look like disasters. Do you know what I mean? Your upline never lets you sleep. He calls you up regularly, right? What do you do with your upline's call? We ignore it. I'm telling you, that's exactly how a bot looks like. At least in my case, I was following my upline. I was somehow trying to find time from her. And from 2010, this meeting happened in 2009, November with her. 2010, I officially started doing signups. And 7 years down the lane, I'm very proud to say that the master plan is always right. It is always right. And the boats will never look like boats. It will always look like disasters. And if you are ready to trust both of this, definitely it will be all worth it. Today I can't believe, from the time I was struggling with no food, I can't believe that I stand in UAE facing a crowd of more than 10,000 people. And they're all listening to me. The same guy who used to clean toilets. I'm very proud to say this. So the master plan always works. And I would also like to add, today, I never leave an opportunity pass behind me. I never leave a problem pass behind me or beside me without me getting into it. Today, without problems, life is boring. I wake up and deal with problems around me because problems are opportunities. And my mentor, my powerful upline, the most beloved person in my life, made sure that I don't miss any of the problems around me. And today I'm very proud because my parents, both of them, are sitting there watching me speak in front of this crowd. I am happy because this was not planned. Today morning, I was informed that I am going on stage. It is a master plan that they decided to come for this VCON. And this is the first VCON they are ever attending. I am very proud. Today, my story is a fiction. Many people actually don't believe my story because my first movie production was a result of QNET doing a short film contest. And they did it for free for me. That's one of the reasons why I was obliged to do the second movie, I mean the main feature film for them. I just did it not for profit. And the first movie I did, I got a state award for that. The second movie I did is getting released next month. And do you know what? It got a national award. It got a national award in India. India is a country where 1.3 billion people live. And getting a national award is something. Getting a national award is something people have not achieved in the last 20 years or 30 years of their movie industry experience. And I did it with 2 movies. Because I believe with QNET, dreams do come true. I would like to thank the V platform for giving me this opportunity to speak in front of all of you. With QNET, dreams do come true when you believe. And all thanks to my parents who bared with me and my upline who always trusted in me when I didn't. Thanks a lot. Thank you.